Is hip hop anti-black? I want to first start off by giving credit where credit is due. Um, this is a topic that I was actually watching Thought Crimes, and I didn't get to hear them flush this out, but Sin and Prince, they mentioned something about hip hop. They were talking about that new. I think it was one of those goddamn rappers that had a song basically saying nigger nigger nigger. I'm like, what the fuck? And they talked about hip hop in sometimes just being hella anti-black. So you're gonna want to subscribe to their channel to listen to them flush out their point of view on that. My point of view is kind of going off in my own direction. I don't know what direction that because I wasn't able to watch the whole show. I was really busy today, so I didn't get a chance to watch the whole show. So I don't know what direction they ended up going in when they talked about that, or I don't even know if they finished talking about it. But I like to give credit if I got a thought from somebody else's words. I like to give credit to the people that put that thought in my mind. And Thought Crimes, they put this thought in. Oh, it was Thug. It was Thug that did that. Okay, thank you. But it was a channel, Thought Crimes, that put this bug in my ear, and it's been ringing every day, all day since they put this thug. I was like on my way to the chiropractor, right? And I'm like, right before I get my neck snapped, I'm listening to them in my headphones. I'm like, oh wow, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since. And this is going to tie into what we talked about earlier about the whole Jay Z and Nas casino situation. All this stuff ties in, but is hip hop anti-black? We got to have this discussion, and I'm gonna talk about it from a few angles. I'm gonna talk about it from a few angles. I don't, of course we know the record industry, the whole industry is anti-black as far as the record labels and all that kind of stuff. We understand that, but I'm not gonna talk so much about the record executives and the record labels today, um, because their anti-blackness is a given. I expect it. It's like Neely Footer said, you expect these things from the usual suspects. My point of view is just dealing with the rappers, just dealing with the producers and the artists. That's the point of view we're coming from today, from the point of view of the artist, not the label. Because of course the labels ain't shit. So with that being said, thank y'all for joining. What's up, chat room? Mr. T, Jeffrey, Jax, let me know y'all in here. Holla, let me know y'all in here. Appreciate everybody for joining. We about to have this discussion. I ordered my papers by the box. Actually, where I do all that for? I just throw this out. Put everything in this one. But with that being said, welcome chat room. Oh shit. I threw the wrong one away. I threw the wrong box in the trash. This one ain't going in trash. But welcome chat room. Thank y'all for joining. I will be doing Q&A style, so I will be looking at y'all comments and answering some of y'all comments later on after I flush out my thoughts. After I put the what's up, Brooke, in the chat? Listen to my mind. What's up, C. Vesey? Dano? Listen to what Brooke said in the chat, or read what Brooke said. This is not a place for bad jokes. This is a place for funny jokes. So if you're not a total goddamn cornball and you got some funny shit to say, by all means, go ahead and say it if it's funny. If you're not funny and you're just saying a bunch of bullshit, then I might as well time you out so that you can read and learn a better way of crafting your jokes before attempting again. So that's the rules. That's the house rules of this chat room. Jokes are welcome, but they better be funny. If they ain't funny, you get timed out. Why? Because bad jokes are just a waste of all of our time, okay? We don't like bad jokes. They're corny, they suck. And if you're somebody that's gonna waste our time with bad jokes, you suck, okay? And I wish everything bad upon you if you're gonna waste our time with that shit. But to everybody else who's lovely and having a good time, just want to kick it, I wish blessings upon you. You dig? That's right, Brooke. If it's whack, it is not allowed. If it is whack, it is not allowed. And a lot of y'all motherfuckers are some white trolls in here, so I'm telling y'all right now, it's about to be a lot of timing out going on. You niggas ain't funny. There we go, C. Vesey. Chris Vesey just made an example out of someone else. Anyone else? Anyone else? Somebody, yeah. That's right. Get these hoes out of here. Their mama didn't pay them any attention, and we're not going to pay you any attention either. So now let me go ahead and change that. Participant mode, subscribers only. There we go. So let's get into it. Is hip hop anti-black? This here is a very, very, very important question that we must ask. And why in the hell did I leave all my lighters upstairs? I'm gonna take I'm still here, y'all. I'm still here. I just gotta go get some lighters. So I turned my shit off. But we're about to be asking, is hip hop anti-black? Here is where this is coming from, y'all. Let's break this down where this is coming from. It's a lot going on right now in the world, you know? And we as black people, we've always had music. Whether it be the blues, whether it be bebop, early days of hip hop, and I mean the early days, up into the 90s, where we had a music, R&B, that reflected what we going through as a society. We've always had music that reflected our trouble, and music and artists that help usher us through our trials and tribulations and troubles. Currently, not only are we not getting that from hip-hop from the youth to the legends is actually helping to usher in more destruction. And that's the angle I'm talking about tonight. It's one thing for it to be under industry control and not giving us all that we need. Okay, R&B did that. When the 80s came, R&B got bought out by the industry, and R&B started giving us love music, but it stopped talking about the subjects and themes that really delivered us. But at the same time, it didn't get destructive. You know, everything isn't going to be profound and earth-shattering deepness, you know? Everything's not going to have that. But to be flat out destructive, that's a problem. Now, what do I mean by destructive? What do I mean by destructive? Whether it be the type of lyrics of a 50 Cent song or his TV shows, when you're looking at Get Rich or Die Trying, when you're looking at the Power series, all of this stuff is very, very, very negative. And you look at the 50 Cent TV shows, they help feed Charlie Kirk style negative narratives and stereotypes of Black Americans. That's one point. That's one angle. That's one angle I want to look at this at. That's one angle of stuff that it feeds. Another angle I want to look at tonight is we saw and we see that Nas and Jay Z in competitions for the most part over who's going to bring a hotel. I'm not hotel, that's Vegas. Who's going to bring a casino to New York? And what is the constructive result of a casino coming to your side of town? And why is it hip hop artists are the ones being used to bring that through? Because at the end of the day, neither Nas nor Jay Z probably, I seriously doubt they have much of their own money invested in it. They generally bring rappers and athletes around for the public. Yeah, casinos are very detrimental. Not good, right? Hip hop is being used to bring that around, you know? I'm gonna say this, but I'm not talking negatively of those who drink. Hell, I'm drinking right now. I'm sipping on something myself right now, so I'm not anti-drink, I'm not anti-weed, none of that. But hip hop is one of the main sellers of hardcore liquor. The Diageo setup, with Puffy and Jay Z and Nas, and it's like, and I'm bringing up Jay Z and Nas and 50 because they're veterans. These aren't, a lot of times I could be talking, sometimes people like, man, these kids, people with great chin hairs like me, are very quick to say, well, it's the new generation. It's the new generation. No. The new generation doing a lot of bullshit, but right now I'm talking about niggas who are older than me, you know? These are the people behind this. You see this, but what balance do you see? Where is the hip hop equivalent? Like, they're very quick to sell us some shit and to market shit to us. But where is the hip hop equivalent to Muhammad Ali? Like, let's take R&B for example. If you go back to the mid '70s, the R&B equivalent to Muhammad Ali was Stevie Wonder, the biggest R&B act on the planet at the time. The R&B equivalent to Bill Russell and to what's his name, Jim Brown, Marvin Gaye. You had R&B equivalents. The jazz equivalent to Medgar Evers was Max Roach. I mean, people who really put it on the line, The poetry equivalent to Malcolm X was Gil Scott Heron. Spoken word, the spoken word equivalent to it was Gil Scott Heron. Yeah, Sam Cooke was an equal to the Panthers. You dig what I'm saying? I'm bringing this up for a reason. Hip hop is old now. Hip hop is old now. It's not a young genre anymore. Hasn't been young for 30 years. Hasn't been young for 40 years. Pablo, you asking that question because you saw my clip earlier. And if you saw my clip, you know who invented lowriders. Black people. I'm back to what we're talking about. Yeah, no, we got some. Now we do. Here's what we do have in hip hop. Hip hop most definitely has equivalents to Al Sharpton. Oh yeah, Hustlers, Jay Z. Hey, what's up? Hey. Oh, Rocky upstairs asleep. Look at that one. Oh, little dog. Oh yeah, that little dog. I like that dog. Everybody in the neighborhood know who Rocky is. Rocky's a star around here. But yeah, we have rap Kamala Harris's, Cardi B. We have rap Jesse Jackson's and Al Sharpton's, but we ain't got no rap Farrakhan's. The closest to that might be Jay Electronica with his new album. And that new Jay Electronica shit is hot than a motherfucker. But he's gotten pushed to the side for the most part. Where's the rap version of these people? You know what I mean? Yeah, we definitely got rap Bayard Rustins. We definitely got some rap Bayard Rustins. Fake hustling sellouts. What's up, Aries? DiCaprio, Sony, what's up, y'all? The closest I can put somebody in rap would probably be Ice Cube. Ice Cube's bus got firebombed today. You know, when Ice Cube did his plan for Black America wasn't ready. Ice Cube literally followed Dr. Claude Anderson's blueprint on you create an agenda for your politicians. And you create an agenda and you get politicians to sign on to that agenda. That's what political science books teach you. That's what Dr. Claude Anderson teaches you. That was the closest move anybody made, was Ice Cube's plan for Black America. But Black America wasn't ready yet. You still got niggas today thinking that Ice Cube's plan for Black America was the same as Donald Trump's platinum plan. You stupid motherfuckers. They ain't had nothing to do with one another. Black America wasn't ready for that. Yeah, they firebombed Ice Cube's bus today in Portland. What's up, Black Noise? Is hip-hop anti-black? Because hip-hop, even cats like Common, hip-hop aligned itself with the Democrat Party. And I know that there are revolutionaries more on the underground, but when it came to the R&B days, they weren't underground, the best of the best. Where's Michael Jackson? 10 Toes Down. Michael Jackson, 10 Toes Down. It's the reason I didn't bring up Kendrick. I think that J. Cole is I think J. Cole is going, he's not with it. He has semi deep music, but he's not really with it. J. Cole is a guy that backed out of the fight for a reason. He's not down with the fight. Kendrick is nobody's, and no, Kendrick's my favorite rapper that's out. Post Ice Cube, Kendrick's my favorite rapper. Post Cube and Snoop, but I can call a spade a spade. Kendrick is no Stevie Wonder. He's no Michael Jackson. He's no James Brown. He's no Aretha. Makes damn good music. Music that's gonna make you think. But at the end of the day, Kendrick's not gonna come to black-owned media and do interviews. He's gonna go to Apple. He's gonna go to Vanity Fair. He's gonna go to some white publication when he decides to speak. He's no Prince. See, in R&B, the best of the best also cared about us. And it was like that early on in hip hop. Like Tupac basically put Carl Kanai on as a fashion designer because he was black. And again, rest in peace, Assata Shakur. But Kendrick's gonna say some dope stuff, but Kendrick's not gonna run to black media and support the way Michael Jackson supported Arsenio Hall. He's not doing that. I love Kendrick, and I would love to collaborate with Kendrick one day on some shit. But we got to ask these questions. Feeder Speaks is not denigrating. What if I said that's denigrating anybody? Denigrating someone will be lying on them or telling them to do something that's unreasonable and criticizing people for being unreasonable. I'm not doing that. If Michael Jackson can do it, what's anybody else's excuse? If Prince can do it, if Stevie Wonder, if James Brown and Aretha Franklin can be like that, there is no excuse. I'm sorry. There isn't. What those people did was set a standard. And let's make it very clear. A major reason why the artists of the 60s were so on point with it was because the grassroots pushed them there, okay? This is a conversation I had with Dr. Randy Short a few times. Dr. Short talked about that, how he could look back in history. Let's go back to Max Roach, bebop drummer. And the albums that he started creating in the 60s, 1960, with a song called It's Time. And the album is Time. And Max Roach was really, really talking about, when the 1960 hit, it was the jazz guys that were like, no, we got to change some shit. And they did it with music that had no lyrics, just with the music itself and bebop. But the pop acts of the 50s, they weren't really trying to speak up for black people. It's the reason why a lot of your 50s music goes missing throughout time. In the 30s and the 40s, you had songs like Strange Fruit from Billie Holiday. You had different stuff that stood the test of time. that spoke up for us. But in the 50s, a lot of your black music was on You're My Earth Angel. It was up on the roof. It wasn't really talking about shit that was pertinent to the needs of black society. Same with the early 60s. So what happened? The grassroots, the people on the streets started demanding from the artists music that reflected our times. The pool hall guys, the street folks was looking at the artists like, all this shit we going through and y'all ain't saying nothing? Go back and listen to music in the early 60s. Music in the early 60s, late 50s, they wasn't really talking about what we're going through. It was the people that went to the artists and demanded the artists step their game up. What's up, Miss Parties 99? Was it Miss Paradise? I said Parties, Miss Paradise. I said Parties. What the fuck am I doing? Anyway, make no mistake about it, the people influenced the artists to speak up. And so Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, these are all newer artists that grew up in an environment listening to the people with doing the civil rights movement say, okay, what's going on with the music? And we're not gonna sit here and act like those people didn't have barriers. Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder both had to sue Motown to make politically conscious music. Marvin Gaye was one of the biggest stars on the planet, clean-cut love symbol. He was the heartthrob of black America, Marvin Gaye. He had to sue the company that helped craft that winning image. We gotta realize Marvin Gaye had a winning image. Marvin Gaye had already won. He'd already won. Motown put him in position to win. Marvin Gaye was doing jazz before Motown. Marvin Gaye was trying to croon. He wasn't do jazz center. He wasn't trying to. Motown made him into America's heartthrob. Hitchhike and all of those songs. He was willing to throw that all away for us. Stevie Wonder, little Stevie Wonder, had fingertips at 13 years old, child star. Had hits like I Was Made to Love Her. What's up, Pablo? You be there Sunday? Yeah. Sunday I got my my interview with Miss Berta Bell, the lady who coined the term lowrider, who's her husband, Mr. Charles Red Bell, created the first lowriders here, the first lowriding crew in Southern California in the 1950s. You're going to get that full interview Sunday over on my other channel, Incense and Ashtrays, but y'all got to go follow Incense and Ashtrays. And Incense and Ashtrays, the link to that channel is in the description. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell for that interview to drop on Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Somebody said, keep my cash. Logan Investments. Oh, yeah. Who know? What you know about Logan Investments? Keep my cash. But I'm saying that to say it was the people who pulled on the artists and the artists responded. Curtis Mayfield. Keep my cash. Is that Diego? Is that Diego? You see? Oh, that Darren? Oh, shit. What up, D? Every now and again, I always think, whatever happened to Darren? Salute to you, my brother. Hey, if you still got my number, Darren, send me a text. Shoot me a text. If you don't have my number, I'm not gonna put my number out here, but email me info@dwannb.com so I can get. If you got a new number, Darren, email me info@dwannb.com. Info@dwannb.com. Yeah. This is me and Al's building right here. Al passed away back in 2018, but this is our building. Yep, Darren, is that you that just text me? Yep, that's me. Yeah, you just text me, Darren? That's me. Hell yeah. Just text your name in that and send me another text with your name in there, because I know once I get off I'll be like, what the fuck? And I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save your number. I got you, Darren. That's what's up. I knew Darren shit. We go back to 2008, 2007, doing hard money loans. We was doing hard money loans. Oh yeah, you want a second? That'll be 16%. It's good hearing from you, Darren. Really good dude, man. Really good dude. Darren, when I was struggling, my money got tight for me in my 20s. We was working doing loans and working security in nightclubs at the same time. We'd be on the phone all day, pounding pavement, looking for loans, and then going to the nightclub and working from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., 3 or 4 nights a week, then right back in the morning going to work. Yeah, you say you just ran a little through YouTube. Yeah. He said we helped crash the real estate market. Shut up, Wayne. Fuck you. Yeah, me and Darren we hustled, man. Doing loans is commission only. And them loans wasn't closing like that in 2008. When that market crashed in that March 2008, shit, brothers had to find new things to do. So we'd be working security at night, breaking up fights, and then be right back in the morning at the office on the phone. Yeah, we have a new second. Oh, you only have a 530 FICO score? Okay, how much equity do you have? Okay, you need a $200,000 second. You owe $400,000 on the first, and your property's worth 1.5. Yeah, I think we could do something. And then we be right back, go home, get off work. He go his house, I go home. Then we right back at the nightclub, 9 o'clock, checking in, because the club opens at 10. Sunday through Saturday. Hey, chat room, y'all thought I was lying when I told y'all how I used to hustle like that? But Yeah, that was life, and that was life in my 20s, man. I still hustle shit, but I hustle like a motherfucker back there. Hustling, and barely making any money. That was the harder part about it. You hustling all goddamn day, but ain't shit coming in. But back to what we was saying, like as far as this hip hop anti-black. Is hip hop anti-black? When you see the legends in hip hop only look out for themselves, oh no, we was getting money in the club down on them tips. But I'm talking about, like, we were back in them days. We was pulling what, 15-hour days? Back in those days, bro, we was easily pulling 15-hour days, 4 or 5 days a week. But but we see what's going on, and like going back to what I was saying about Kendrick. Like I said, I like Kendrick Lamar, but I just let the moves be the moves. I don't prejudge anybody, and I'm sure Kendrick is doing some things behind the scenes. I'm sure he is. I'm sure there are a fair amount of people out there doing some things behind the scenes. I'm sure. I don't think everyone's just out for self. I'm sure there are a lot of rappers doing things behind the scenes. But my only issue with that is this: rap is such a bombastic, bravado, look at me, I'm tough genre. It's like rap and hip hop has all the bravado in the world until it's time to have bravado. That's my issue. R&B singers are singing love music, so I'm not expecting this from them. But they did it anyway. Michael Jackson to dance and moonwalk his ass right down to some music and walk right down and write a song straight to the government. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us, and then back it up with all that money he donated. And then the moves he would make. Michael Jackson would go on Arsenio Hall show. He would do the Soul Train Awards. He would interview Prince, would do the BET Award. He would do the Super Bowl and the BET Awards. And then when Prince had a new project coming out, it's Prince. Prince can go anywhere. Where did Prince go when he was talking about his work? Prince went to Tavis Smiley. You're right, Derek. It doesn't benefit us, and it's for a reason. But do people think about that? I mean, as recently as 2012, 13, Prince would go interview with Tavis Smiley. What's up, Reno? I was about to take Reno's wrench the other day because I was looking like, which one of my moms don't be up in this motherfucker no more? But I was like, nah, Reno probably busy, so I'm going to keep it there. But I almost de-wrenched your ass a couple weeks ago, Reno. Welcome. It's good to see you. Good to see you. And here's why I say that. Where are the major rappers coming to the online podcasters that talk hip hop all day. Oh, you got a new job working overnight? Prince didn't pay a lot of people, Fela speaks. Bad businessman. So is James Brown. Still don't change my point. Prince, see, here's the reason why I say that. You can't be on an island and you cannot expect those people, you cannot expect those people to care for your legacy and to promote your stuff and to get you out there. And we're only as good as our team as a people. So if you're an artist, one reason why when let's go back to Michael Jackson's trial, when he had those cases, black people never left Michael Jackson's side because Michael Jackson never left our side. They could say whatever they wanted about Michael, but since Michael stayed in contact with black media, Michael did his tours using Al Heyman, a black promoter. Bad tour. Because Michael Jackson never abandoned the people never abandoned him. Michael Jackson didn't wait to go on trial to go say, hey, let me go band together with the Negroes. Michael Jackson was taken care of by the people when they came against him because he stayed with the people. Prince, when he promoted an album, because you know how white Vanity Fair and especially Rolling Stone is racist as fuck, that magazine. That magazine racist as hell. They'll take your work and shit on it. Oh, well, he's not as good as he used to be. I'm not sure if this is going to go platinum. I don't know. No, Prince would go to Tavis Smiley because Tavis Smiley was going to show him love. We all need each other. Yeah, make sure you hit like on the stream. We all need each other. And hip hop seems to not give a fuck about the group of people who put it there. Hip hop allows Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes to run around and say hip hop is Puerto Rican, hip hop is Jamaican. And does mainstream hip hop say a word to defend it? No. They just act like no one is saying this kind of stuff. Is hip hop anti-black? I'm talking about the artists. I ain't talking about the industry. We know the industry ain't shit. That's like saying, okay, winter in Alaska has snow. Duh. If you want to know what I think of Roy Ayers, Sony, subscribe to the Patreon and listen to my 2 dedications I did to Roy Ayers. I did one 3 years ago before he died, and I did another one after he died. You can get all my thoughts on Roy Ayers on Patreon. I did about 4 hours of content between those 2 shows, breaking down his music and his mastery. That's where you're gonna get them thoughts, brother. But great question. I hear you, Elisino. Hip hop is bought, but all of our music is bought. All of it. You know, I'm not giving hip hop that excuse. All of it's bought. Yeah, Jadakiss on the show with Fat Joe. I don't know what Jadakiss doing. But Jadakiss is also an artist that gave us a lot of dope ass lines that wasn't saying shit. So Sky Too Hottie. Yeah, that's right, Sony. Look, I'm not gonna tell y'all how to respond in the chat. Let me make this disclaimer before I say what I have to say. In the chat, you guys are free to say what you have to say, and your opinions are valid. I, in no way, shape, or form, want to make you feel like I'm going to invalidate your point of view of anyone in the chat. Just I'm going to offer my point of view. I'm done giving excuses to these hip hop niggas. I'm reading some of the excuses y'all giving them, and I used to give the same excuses too. But courage has never cared about restraints. Courage has never considered confinement. We've always been under control since the days of slavery. Labels have always had a gag on us. As a matter of fact, it was harder to speak up for us back then in the 70s and the 80s because there was no internet. If a black artist was going to speak up for one of us, they had to go and do it in an interview in person, not hide behind it. They didn't have the luxury of being at home and tweeting it out. These guys got Twitter. They got Blue Sky. They got Threads. They got Facebook. They got Instagram. They got YouTube. They got Rumble. What is hip hop putting back in the pot? We have to look. The only way we gonna get hip hop to act right is by having these discussions. These niggas are not infallible. That's real talk. Just because Prince had a bad record deal, when Prince wasn't paying Morris Day, Prince wasn't getting paid. See, it's the difference on how they pay black artists versus how they pay non-black artists. When black artists has other acts, they'll give that one black artist, first off, he's getting way less than he should be getting. And then they'll be like, okay, yeah, now you pay them down line. After they done stole half the money up top, the pittance that they're giving you now got to break off 5 other niggas. Versus if you're a white artist and they're all signed directly to the label and they all get equal splits. And they're dealing with a larger pot of money. So there's but I don't want to go too deep off into Prince. Real talk, Mark Anthony. Hip hop is like when I see this debate, like I'm another reason I'm having this conversation, when I see this Nas versus Jay Z casino thing, people taking it back to the rap battle and how, and I agree, artistically, I think Nas is dusting. He dusts Jay Z artistically. Nas doesn't rely on other people's words to make a hit. But I'm more of a Nas guy than a Jay Z guy. Y'all know me, I talk all the time about Nas. The Illmatic and the Untitled album, two of my favorite pieces. Hip Hop is Dead. Those are three of my favorite albums. But Nas Untitled, if you listen to Nas's Untitled album and listen to Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly album, they're basically the same album, done in their unique flavors. But content-wise, as far as lyrical content and the message in the Nigga album was a similar message as Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly album. Listen to those albums back to back, both profound pieces of artwork. But a casino, nigga? When is enough money enough? Like, people are like cheering, and I see how people are getting tired of Jay Z. People are laughing at him for not getting his casino and cheering Nas. I cheer neither. A casino? A casino? That's like, and here's the thing about it is, it's not neither of them niggas. It'd be different if it was really your casino. It's not. It's some white folks' casino. It ain't even, that ain't your shit. They paid you a boatload of money to create a perception of acceptance, to bring in, and they say it's going to bring in over 5,000 jobs. Well, who's going to get hired? Now, I will go so far as to say that, okay, you want me to put this casino to bring in jobs? Well, there's going to be a minimum number of black Americans that are going to have to work these jobs. Paid market rate, market wage. Okay, New York. I don't know how many black people are in New York, but I'm just going to throw a number out there, okay? Say New York is what? 10% black, or Queens. Okay, I'm going to say 10%. Could be more, could be less. I don't know. Well, are 10% of these jobs going to go to black Americans? And I don't mean initial hiring. I mean through perpetuity. If you fire a nigga, you got to hire a nigga. If you ain't talking like that, then don't come to me talking about someone that brings in jobs. They ain't going to hire none of the black people. Unless it's security or mailroom or some low-paying job. We'll get some low-paying jobs, but they're not going to hire any black people for no jobs that pay $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year within that casino. Niggas ain't getting them jobs. They may give a couple black people a few $60,000 a year jobs. And everyone else is going to be working part-time, $20 an hour. That's how it works. So what's all this? So it's like, at what point does hip-hop, and I'm talking about the legends, at what point does it stop selling us death and destruction? I look at at what point do they stop selling us death and destruction? As I smoke my weed and drink. We all got vices. We all got our issues. We all got our problems. But there's certain things that you don't. Well, I won't say don't, because it's not nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with pushing liquor or whatever. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm saying, where's the balance? That's really what I'm trying to say. Where's the balance? Nipsey had just opened up Vector 90 here in the Crenshaw district that was teaching STEM to black kids here. Where's the balance? I'm not here to say people shouldn't push whatever. Look, I get your money. I'm not a hater. I'm not against these guys making their money, but where is the balance? Hip hop. Where is it? Where is the balance to 50 Cent style TV programming? You either getting out of jail, well, 50 Cent, you either going to jail, getting out of jail, in jail, on the streets, doing something that can put you in jail. That's from Get Rich or Die Trying to Power to even that show where the dude was convicted and getting out of jail. Something about, where's the balance? Where's the balance? The biggest balance, honestly, is, you know, at one point you had balance back in the 80s, movies like House Party. Just a fun movie, you know. You had early in, what's his name? What's that movie? Strictly Business, you know, and Do the Right Thing. And I think that as far as the rappers go, nobody's done it better than Cube. Cube gave you Friday. Oh shit! So lightning strike. It's lightning right now. I mean, Cube gave us Friday, then a movie like Barbershop, you know, where we just Barbershop was a great, especially Barbershop 1. Barbershop 1 was the best out of all of them. You know, the balance of black culture, you know. Are we there yet? The family side. Yeah, Class Act was the shit. Where is the balance? And again, I'm not talking about obscure rappers. When I mean obscure, people that only hip hop fans know about. I'm talking about the mainstream ones. Because god damn it, everybody knew who James Brown was, and he still said, I'm black and I'm proud. Everybody knew who Stevie Wonder was, and he still fought for Martin Luther King Day. Everybody knew who Michael Jackson was, and he still gave us Remember the Time and went and worked with black media. Everybody knew who Prince was, and they still stepped up and stood out. And they all were restricted. Curtis Mayfield, Aretha Franklin. See, it's the reason why there's a reason why James Brown. Ooh, that last hit was strong. Oof. It's the reason why Aretha and James Brown and Michael Jackson are immortal. Prince is immortal because Prince was more than his music. And here's another reason why I don't, and it's a lot of death and destruction, but here's the reason why I don't let the good ones off the hook. This is the reason why I don't let the good rappers off the hook. The good rappers don't do anything to protect our culture. So I know some of y'all named the good ones earlier, but the good ones just be quiet when our culture's on the line. They don't step up and say anything. Silence is compliance. That goes in, that's true for hip hop too. Silence is compliance. Appreciate the super chat, hard bottom shoes. Silence is compliance, period. I look at the jazz guys. The biggest jazz act in the world right now is Kamasi Washington. And Kamasi Washington will be the first to tell you jazz is black music. And if you listen to Kamasi Washington's music, he has a lot of music that's just black. It's to us. It's for us. It's just us. And he also has a song that reminds us of who our native identity here is. The song Cherokee. He remade Cherokee is a common song. Dizzy Gillespie did Cherokee. Cherokee is a jazz classic. If you notice, one of the most jazz standard is dealing with Cherokee tribes, not African tribes. Think about that for a second. One of the greatest jazz classic is about the Native American tribes, not African tribes. Music speaks through you. Robert Glasper stands up for the culture every chance he gets. This nigga Big Hank said the good rapper should learn how to play an instrument. I'm not going there, dog. I'm not fucking with you. Hey, Big Hank, I'm not fucking with you. That was funny. I'm not fucking with you. I'm not. Let me stay on track. I'm already in trouble right now. I'm already in trouble. Let me not get myself into more trouble reading you niggas' comments. Oh, and did y'all see Gary Owen responded to me in the comments? That video I did on Gary Owen about him being a culture vulture. Go look at the comments on that video. I pinned it. Gary Owen responded. He said, "Oh, I'm now subscribed." And it was a very polite response. Although I think that there's more to that. Yeah, today. Also, Florence and Robert Glasser does Jazz in the Park in Houston. Yeah. Yeah, Gary Owen responded to the video. 2 weeks ago, I did a video on Gary Owen being a culture vulture. He said he watched the whole video and he subscribed. Well, Gary Owen, I say welcome. This is a channel that when people speak out and there's a subject of Black America, we respond. But it's all in love, nothing personal, even though I cuss. I'm my grandfather's grandson. My grandfather raised me on. You cuss out people, even the ones you love. Hey, you little fat motherfucker, turn the TV. That's my grandfather. That's how I was raised when I would go visit my grandfather. Hey, little fat motherfucker, come eat this shit I cooked for you. If you don't eat it all, I'm gonna cut you and stuff you. That was how he would talk to me when I was 4. So, hey, cussing is part of how I teach. Yeah, Shock G was versatile. Well, where are the good rappers to speak up when Fat Joe gets out of line? That's my question. Is hip hop anti-black? Because you will have these anti-black movements within hip hop, and none of the good rappers say anything about it. The good rappers sat back and watched Drake bring us 15 years of mediocre music. Catchy hooks. Y'all allowed him in the house through Cash Money. That's why when I talk music, I talk about how everybody had issues. The West Coast, the East Coast, and the South. The South, y'all let Drake in the door. We gotta be like Bugsy Calhoun, nigga. Who let Smalls in this organization? Oh, you let Smalls in this organization? Put your fingers in the piano. We gotta be like Bugsy Calhoun. The West Coast, we let Eminem and 50 Cent in the door. New York shut 50 Cent out. The West, we let 50 and Eminem in the door. Especially Eminem. But that, even though that was Jimmy Iovine's call, it still happened through us. It was Jimmy Iovine's call. Dre had to do what Jimmy Iovine told him to do. But Black G said the South opened up zest to hip hop. Facts. The South made being bussified in hip hop become, what's his name? Was a young thug wearing dresses? That's how. That's where the painted nails came. The painted nails came through the South. But back to Drake. Drake's music has been mediocre since day one. Catchy, but mediocre. And then once Drake got on top, people for the most in the industry, people outside of Pusha T, a few others held their tongue and allowed this shit to happen. And Drake says a line like, "You rapping like you try to free the slaves," and niggas in Atlanta like, "I'm still gonna work with him. I don't care what he said. I'm still gonna work with him." Really? Really? Okay. Our legends protected the culture. Of course I'm brutal on hip hop. Why shouldn't I be? Hip hop is taking a lot of my money. Taking a lot of your money too. Don't you demand something back from what you've invested your whole life in? I do. Because hip hop has dropped the ball. And appreciate that, Brooke. Part of the reason why hip hop has dropped the ball because hip hop has lived long past its expiration date. Let's think about this for a moment, black people. Although most of our genres don't die, most of our genres have a time in the sun and then something else comes along to replace it in a few years. Hip hop is now 52, according to what they say. See, hip hop is the same age as disco. That's what people forget. Disco and hip hop both started in '73, but disco shot out of a rocket. Love's Theme was a hit. The Sound of Philadelphia was a hit. The Love I Lost was a hit. Disco shot out like a rocket. And disco was ours from '73, '74, '75. White folks got disco in '75, '76. And the Bee Gees, they tried to make it white with the Bee Gees. And then '75, '76, a lady named Donna Summer comes along. And Donna Summer came through Casablanca Records, which was a fringe label. It wasn't one of the mainstream. The mainstream, for the most part, it was kicking black people out of disco in 76, '77. But Donna Summer came along, and disco had its time. And then '79, disco dies, and it's on to something else. Although disco still lives through house music, through world beat, through EDM, and that whole genre of music, Eurobeat, anything laying four on the floor and an up note on a hi-hat is a disco descendant. All that four on the floor music is a descendant of disco. But disco didn't have time to sell us out. Funk. Funk started in 66. Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. 67, Sly and the Family Stone comes along out of Oakland. 68, down in New Orleans, the Meters. 69, Isaac Hayes and War here in LA. 69, funk comes along, starts to really get big, and by '83, after Atomic Dog, they killed funk off. Funk didn't have the time to sell us out. Funk still lived through hip hop and a lot of your R&B. Swing had its time in the sun from 32 from swing had its time in the sun in the 30s and the early 40s. That's when swing had its time in the sun. And then rock and roll came through. We Boogaloo had about a 3-year stretch. Doo-wop had about a 4 or 5 year stretch. Stride had like a 7 or 8. Stride was that gap between ragtime and what we now know as modern jazz. It didn't jump from ragtime to jazz. It went from ragtime to stride to jazz. What I'm saying is, creatively, we tend to create shit and move on. Y'all trying to group Prince. You can't group Prince down into one genre. What y'all gotta realize is this: before the artists that came out in the '70s and before the '80s or early '80s and back, they played everything. All that shit's the same. Rhythm and blues and rock are the same. Jazz and funk are the same. It's just different flavors. If you're gonna play disco, it's gonna be at 130 BPM, lay 4 on the floor, pull back on the beat. If you're gonna play funk, it's gonna be at about 108 beats a minute, heavy on the 1, lay back on the 2. The musicians play it all. And if you go back and listen to their albums, Confunction was a funk band, but they also had some bossa nova style music. Same thing with Chic. Chic was funk. Chic was known as a disco band, but they also played some funky music. The only group like Earth and Fire avoided disco, although one of their biggest hits, disco hits, was Boogie Wonderland. But Earth and Fire also had funk music, songs like Saturday Night. They also had love ballads, devotion, gospel ballads like Be Ever Wonderful. We play it all. That's all of our music. It's not, this is some new shit. Oh, this guy is funk. That guy is rock. No, they're all of it. Funk is funk is just as reliant upon the guitar as rock music. Rock and funk are the same. Funkadelic was a rock band. Funkadelic was a doo-wop band first. They sang barbershop quartet. That's how they started. Then they did R&B of the late 60s. Then in the late 60s into the early 70s, they played heavy metal, rock and roll, punk, kind of heavy metal sound. America Eats Is Young. And then in the mid 70s, early 70s, they going to start phasing in R&B. And then by the time they got to the mid 70s, up for the downstroke, they transitioned to funk. But they never left rock alone. And those rock elements with the guitar stayed. Slave, all these great, the Isley Brothers. Who's that lady? Funk. In between the sheets, a love ballad. When you go back to talking about artists, Prince and prior to Prince, you cannot box them into anything. Okay? Stevie Wonder, you can't box him. Superstition, funk. Inner Visions, acapella ballad. Ebony Eyes, that was a little stridish. Have a Talk with God, gospel. Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel. The Way You Make Me Feel is the blues. But instead of 12 bar, it was 16. The Way You Make Me Feel, blues. Dirty Diana, rock. Billie Jean, funk. Thriller, rock. Prince did play country, Purple Rain. Prince played funk, pop life. There is no more so. The standard in black music used to be, I have to play it all. See, when they put together albums, you didn't want every song to sound, you didn't want no two songs to sound nothing alike back then in the 70s. Every song had to sound different. And if you were some bands like Earth and Fire, if you go listen to Earth and Fire album, the first side, they would always start off with their fastest song would be the first song. And then by the end of the first side, they slow it down. Earth and Fire's music kind of went in descending order. The dance hit, the mid-tempo hit, the ballad, the question. Like Earth and Fire, that, the in-depth song. Flip the album, fast song, mid, dun dun dun. And you switch up the feel. You switch up the feel. Yeah, Ebony Eyes could easily be ragtime. That was just standard. You didn't say, oh, we're a funk band, we're only gonna play funk. No. You play a little bit of it all. Confunction has a song called Indian Summer. It's a beautiful, worldly groove. So, yeah, Sweet Love. Commodores, Brick House. Look at the Commodores album, the Commodore album. Brick House, funk, easy is popish. It's very pop. Sail On, country western like a motherfucker. Easy and Sail On have a very country. Brick House is one of the funkiest songs ever made. And then on the same album, they have Zoom. What genre is Zoom? You can't even put Zoom in a genre. That's just some otherworldly music from heaven. That's not only did we invent. See, what happens is we're so indoctrinated by it. That goes back to Prince and Michael Jackson staying in touch with black media. We're so indoctrinated by white media and we don't even understand. And I'm not being critical of y'all. Me too. This is a process I had to really see things. It's their publications that lock us down into one thing. It's their record labels that push us into one thing. But when you go and listen to the music, you hear something completely than what they write about. And that's why I say the 70s was the greatest era of all time musically. Go listen to a song, chat room right now. Write this song down. I'm going to tell you. Listen to it. By Marvin Gaye. It's on the Trouble Man soundtrack. It's called T Plays It Cool. Put T Plays It Cool on the Trouble Man soundtrack by Marvin Gaye. And you tell me if that's hip hop or not. Somebody in the chat room, go pull up T Plays It Cool. That song is a 4-bar vamp. And when you listen to the guitar is scratching like a turntable. It's straight up cypher music, but it's an instrumental. Every 4 bars, I think that's Marvin on the drums on that song. They go, dun, 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 dun. Yep, T Plays It Cool. Go look up that song. T Plays It Cool. That song is cypher music. A rapper might want to slow it down a little bit, but that's straight up cypher music. Doom, ta, doom, 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 boom. Tell me that ain't hip hop. Thoughts of a Wildflower. You listening to it right now, right? Yeah. Press the number 1 if you hit play. If you just listen to it real quick, and tell me what you think. Slim said Puffy didn't get his hands on that. Yeah, Puffy, Kanye, all them niggas missed out on that one. Do y'all hear the keys and what the guitar does? The scratching? Does that scratching not sound like a turntable? But it's not. Does that not sound like the rhythm of a turntable? The scratching on T Plays It Cool. Listen to it. You ain't gonna tell me that's the same rhythm as scratching? That's real talk, Elicino. Our biggest mistake is allowing our oppressor to give us their definitions. No, it's white acts that play one sound, non-black acts. Non-black acts, they find an aspect of our music, and they get great at it sometimes. I'm not gonna. Pink Floyd's a great band. Led Zeppelin is a great band, but they only play the blues. They didn't play nothing else. They just remade 50s and 60s blues. The Rolling Stones, they just played the blues. Elton John, he just sang the blues. None of them as good as the originals. Earth, Wind, and Fire, can you box Earth, Wind, and Fire down to any genre? Be Ever Wonderful and Fantasy are technically completely different genres, polar opposites, but they're on the same album. All in all, go listen to Earth and Fire's All in All album. Fantasy and Be Ever Wonderful, those ain't nowhere near the same genre. James Brown played jazz. The JBs, the JBs will have songs that were jazz. Go listen to the JBs. I think one of the songs is called Dedicated to Black America or something like that on the JBs album. The JBs had jazz songs. Yeah, Cosmic Slop, yeah. And like, even though Funkadelic did primarily funk, it's such a wide range in music that Funkadelic and Parliament did. The clones of Dr. Funkenstein, that song, Dr. Funkenstein, we love to funk you, Funkenstein. Your funk is the best. That's completely different than Aqua Boogie. Psycho, Alpha, Disco, Beta, Bio, Aqua, Doo Doo. You got Bernie Worrell is literally playing classical. Go listen to the song Aqua Boogie by Earth and by Parliament Funkadelic. Press number 1 if you know that song Aqua Boogie. It's a long song, but if you listen to the last 3 or 4 minutes of the song, Bernie Worrell is literally playing classical piano in a funk song. He was classically trained. So y'all know that part at the end when Bernie Worrell is going doom 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 doom. Then he plays "Mary Has Little Lamb" or some shit like that. But not "Mary Has Little Lamb," but he Bernie Worrell has a classical piano solo. And this is still funk music. So even within the genre of funk, the sound is so diverse. Funk gets marginalized. Funk is every bit as genius as jazz. I stand on that. Jazz is our classical, but our classic funk through from, especially when you get dealing with 74 through 83, I'm taking back to 69, 69. 69 through 83, the funk, it was so sophisticated to be able to play your sound aggressively and still lay back and have space for other musicians to express their thoughts musically. Doesn't get more difficult than that. But let's go back to the theme and the topic of the title today. Is hip hop anti-black? And part of my thesis, part of my thesis is hip hop doesn't actively protect black culture. Let's juxtapose that to funk. I heard an interview with George Clinton years ago, and he said this in plenty of his interviews. If you've heard more than one George Clinton interview, you heard him say this whenever he's asked about funk. They asked George Clinton, why did he say funk so much in his music? He even said it in his music, funk used to be a bad word. Well, funk was associated with black, that old black music. Funk had a negative connotation to it. So George Clinton said, we figured we take that word and we keep saying it because basically the white folks take everything else. So we don't want them taking this. That's part of the reason why Funkadelic Parliament never capitulated to disco. The more commercialized disco got, the funkier Parliament Funkadelic got. Funkadelic consciously stayed black music. How did they consciously stay black music? They kept it at the tempos that we like. Black people don't like dancing past 130 BPMs. Well, people who are in the house like that, the house segment of black folks. But there's a larger segment of black people. We really stop at about 120. But Luke is about 128. That's about as fast as we gonna go. Is that Luke tempo, 128. But you really gonna get black people dancing at about between 108 and 116 BPM. That's where we really like to dance. You keep the tempo between 101, 116 BPMs. Cause we like it slow. We like to, because black people, we dance and we move between the beats. That's why we like our music slower like that. We don't pogo stick on top of the beat. We move in the groove of the beat. Between the rhythms is where all the action takes place for us, culturally. And we like seasoning herbs and spices the same way we do in our food. You go see white cooking videos, they drop a pinch of salt on shit. Nigga, we grab the bottle of Lorry's and shake that motherfucker till it look right. So you add the flavor in the music, horns, strings, 2 or 3 keyboards, 2 or 3 guitars. Make it very layered and flavored. And George did that consciously. It embraced blackness. So much so to the point, funk was allowed to live. It was from funk was 66 to 83, technically. But funk's thriving years where it really just took over would, I would say, be more 72, 73 to 83. And that's where most of your samples come from outside of James Brown samples come before that. But most of your non-James Brown samples come between 73 and 83. That decade has been providing samples now for 40 years. Think about that for a second. That decade is still being used for samples today, 2025. Like, I understand that the industry has taken over hip hop. Who's gonna buck it? Michael Jackson bucked it. He lived forever. Hell, niggas is dying. Nigga, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. You know what I mean? And when I say bucket, I don't want nobody to fucking start no goddamn Antifa war. I ain't calling for no shit like that. I'm just saying, which one of you big dogs gonna next time they say hip hop is anything other than black culture? When are one of you big dogs just gonna say, hey, hold up? Can my culture, can my people, can we have something that for ourselves that we created? We enjoy the fact that Latinos, whites, Asians, and everyone else loves it. Matter of fact, you guys are welcome to come have fun with us. But have some respect. And please don't claim what my people created. Who has the courage to say that? I mean, on a big level. I ain't talking about, somebody here, somebody there. That's all I'm asking from hip hop. Who in hip hop is going to give us? We need a return. We need balance. We need movies we have the internet now. Like, ain't nothing stopping these niggas from putting a movie out on Tubi. Ain't nothing stopping these cats from backing somebody out there, finding one of those Tubi movie directors that just need a little bit more budget, coming together and putting money behind that guy. See, R&B and jazz helped Spike Lee. The jazz generation, the R&B generation, when he needed to make Malcolm X, Bill Cosby and Michael Jackson put up money. Who in hip hop is putting up money? Okay, you don't want to speak. Where are the hip hop cat's paws? You niggas like reading the book, The 48 Laws of Power, so goddamn much. Where are you 48 Law of Power hip hop niggas funding black folks who are doing it right? Dr. Claude Anderson said he never got no money from the big rappers or anybody. Where y'all? Why is it that Dr. Claude Anderson don't have a story of a big dog in hip hop being his benefactor? I'm pretty sure some of y'all, I remember Lauryn Hill and Nas had that one tour promoting Dr. Claude Anderson, but that went away real fast. Like, with the films that Tariq Nasheed do, Tariq Nasheed should never have to fund. Honestly, he fundraises for his films, and I always donate. But after Hidden Colors 1, Hidden Colors 1 was proof of concept. 2, 3, through everything else, you can't tell me it's 5 hip hop niggas that can come together and be like, hey, here, whatever you got, just go ahead and put it out there. We pay for it. After we see the profound effect of hidden colors, Tariq should never have to put his own money up for anything. Hell, even creepy Jason Black. I've talked about him before, being a fucking creep with how he treated one of his former mods. But when you see movies like what was that one movie he did? I saw. I'm drawing a blank. Not 3 a.m. It was another movie that he did. I'm just drawing a blank of it too. The one he did with Judge O'Brown in it. Why it should still be people? They should be lined up to help fund his project. 7 a.m. Yes, said that. People should be lined up to fund his project. So what? That all the other shit. So all the weirdos in Hollywood. Yeah, Feeder Speaks. He's a fucking weirdo. I talked to. Yeah, that motherfucker lost a criminal and civil suit from being a fucking weirdo. And don't want. It's the reason why motherfucker don't want to show his face. But I'm not the one to talk. You ain't heard it from me. Well, you did hear it from me. I send out what I say. But the 7 a.m. and gentrified. You can't tell me there aren't 3 big money rappers who will say, "Hey, we need more films like that. What do you need?" It only costs a few $100,000. What's up, Cold Crush? After he did his first film, that should have been enough of a proof of concept. We need more media like this. Little Ben. That's what I mean. Is hip hop anti-black? Yes, Nas did put money up for Tariq. I heard about that. I remember, but Nas was in Hidden Colors. But where are these people to fund this kind of? Where is like? Let's go back to even when you go back to R&B. R&B was funded by the streets. Freeway Rick Ross paid for Anita Baker's demo. The streets used to put money up for Dr. King and Malcolm X. Protect them. My issue with hip hop is with all of the bravado. Where is that bravado when it comes to our sense of community? Not just sense of community, when it comes to the action of protecting and growing our community. Where is hip hop? I mean, on a vocal level, if you could be vocal about who's snitching on who, if you could be vocal about all these other things that y'all talk about, you vocal about your sex life, you vocal about how much money you make. A gentleman never tells how much money he has or how much money he makes. That's one of the rules of being a gentleman. You don't talk about your money and how much money you make. So you break the rules of being a gentleman, talking about money. You break the rules of talking about bedroom activities. the art itself is pompous by nature. It's a masculine form of music. It's very pompous. Hip hop is loud, boastful, and risque, risk taking until it's time to take a risk. That's my issue. I think that I think that Jay Electronica just released some shit today that I've been taking my time with the last, I mean, not today, he released it last week. But this last week, today, I would say, I keep saying today because today especially, well, it's only 2 more minutes left in today. Today especially, I played that shit like 10 times, just really getting into it, you know? But, yeah, you right, Andre Bryant. Charleston White did start making money when he started shitting on us. But I think a lot of what he says is cap too, because my thing is this. One thing you gotta know, and I come from helping the community, quote unquote. I hate that fucking term. But you gotta know that that's a thankless job. Not just black people, America don't respect the helpers. Turn your TV on. America will tell you more about John Gotti than America will tell you about Charles Drew, or let's take a white doctor, the first white brain surgeon. We don't even know the name of the first white brain surgeon, but we know the name of Bugsy Siegel. America likes its criminals more than its substantive heroes. And black America, we are no different. Sometimes worse. I told you that one podcast I won't mention because I don't want no smoke. But it's one of those LA podcasts, as they say. And Mayor Karen Bass went on the LA podcast, not hating, but they knew nothing about Charlie Kirk and know nothing about anything political, but can tell you where every Mason-Dixon line between this hood and that hood is. It's a major issue with hip-hop. Yeah, Charleston White is entertainment only, and I get when he says that, but you're still responsible for your entertainment. As an actor, you gonna kiss a man or you not? Yeah, you just an actor, but if you kiss that man on camera, you're always that man that kissed a man. And it shows that you don't have, it shows that your standards are at a certain level. You could, look, there is free will. You could do what you want to do, but there's results. There's a reaction to it. There's a result. You know what I mean? So even though Charleston White is playing a character, if you go around talking about, well, black people are our own worst problem and we this and we that, ain't no white person doing nothing to us. Only a fucking dummy think a white person is doing something to us. No, there's a system that creates a particular outcome, and the issues that you speak on are the results of a system that guaranteed a segment of black people turn out that way. The majority of black people don't kill, don't steal, don't rob, don't live on the county. The majority of us work. The majority of us abide by the law. The majority of us take care of our responsibilities. So if you want to go around the internet making it seem as if those people are the exception and these thugs, even though it's just a character, you still have to handle what comes with that. That's right, Felix. Most of us work. Appreciate that, Ashley. Most of us are on the straight and narrow. Most of us. Some aren't. And I don't apologize for the few that aren't. They always say, we don't ever want to talk about what's going on the streets. Well, I'm going to make it very clear to y'all. This is why I don't spend too much time talking about these sorry ass niggas. It's because when you deal with a system that knows by the second grade how many prisons to build, when you deal with a system that says, okay, we're going to do whatever we're going to bring in all these people south of the border to take their jobs. This social stratification system gave white folks the good jobs, and black people were left with the cleaning jobs, the service industry jobs. And that's why when Roosevelt created the New Deal in the 30s, service industry jobs were left out. That's why farming and service industry was left out of the New Deal. That's why they don't have the minimum wage and the all the different laws, that labor laws, because those were black jobs. It's the system that said, we're going to bring in people south of the border to take these jobs that were designated to black people. The only reason why black people even had these jobs to begin with is because we would not allow the black people to compete for being engineers and the foremen on the work site and architects. You just can't get those jobs because you're black, but you can get these jobs over here. And then 30 years later, we're going to bring people in here to take those jobs. When that happens, the end result is a segment of black people who are disenfranchised, and through disenfranchisement, you're going to have to eat the reaction of disenfranchisement is hood activities, ghetto activities. Ghettos are planned environments that guarantee destruction, no matter what race is in that ghetto, whether that ghetto be in Europe or that ghetto be in Boston or Los Angeles. So when I see these pink-haired, loud-ass hoodlums and these male thoughts going around shooting and shit, I understand that's the end result of social engineering. And the only way we can guarantee that this doesn't happen is through ending the system and creating a system that there's equal access to opportunity, wealth, not even wealth, just a decent lifestyle. That's how you deal with it. And before you can do that politically, I know that the people who are shooting a black man that are shooting another black man is a victim of menticide. If you think lowly of yourself, you're going to think lowly of the next man. You're not going to see the other black man as your brother because you don't see yourself as shit. And one of the main reasons you don't see yourself as shit is because you have an education system that doesn't include you. It's the reason why most black people don't know how great George Washington Carver was, Benjamin Banneker, Gladys West, Lewis Latimer, Garrett Morris, It's the reason why niggas are basically pulled out of the education system. It's a reason. This is all the end result. Not loving yourself, not knowing who you are. It plays out and, oh, you disrespected me? I'll shoot you. Because I hate you. Because I hate myself. Cause and effect. That's why I don't talk about what these niggas are doing on the streets. They're victims of social engineering. Thank God for society. Most black people aren't that way. I'm surprised there aren't more. If I'm gonna tell you the truth. Surprised there aren't more thugs. Surprised there's not more crime. Considering how many of us are going through it. It's by the grace of God that it is where it is and not worse. I understand those people. Now I say the fuck far away from them kind of niggas. If I see you with pink hair and you smacking your lips, get the fuck away from me. And don't fuck with them. Stay the fuck away from me. But I understand them. So I'm not gonna go around YouTube saying, what's wrong with black people? Like Antoine Daniels and the Hodge twins making my son Charleston White. This is what's wrong with us. No, no. Them niggas is the victims of hundreds of years of social engineering, and no, but that's not us. That's a segment of us that I still love, and I'm not about to go around making a circus out of their lives for a YouTube click. But I've been here in damn near 2 hours. I'm about to get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't realize I've been on here that long. Yeah, I saw the how as soon as you get that nigga wake up call. But yeah. Don't fall for the okie doke people. And hip hop, it needs to do more. And I think hip hop needs to get every bit as bold about stepping up for us as it is about how much money it spends at the club, as it is about how many hoes it got, as it is about how many bodies they done dropped, as it is about how much money they done spent. Get that bombastic about what have you done to help the greater good and protect the society that gave you the DNA and the experiences to rap about. This society is the bloodline and it's the environment that you was raised in that gave you the experiences that you were able to translate into the music, which allows you to live a very luxurious lifestyle in comparison to the rest of us. Okay, now what are you willing to give back? The jazz guys give back to this day. When is the big time hip hop guys gonna step up? Not saying there are people who don't, but I'm looking for the top. And until someone does that in that space, it's just another bastard form of music. And I hope Southern Soul take you out. Because at least Southern Soul is run by real people. Subscribe to Incense and Ashtrays right now. The link is in the description. This coming Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, my interview with Miss Berta Bell, creator of the term lowrider, will be there for you on Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right? I'm out.